It's graduation day on the community college campus. Look around and you'll see success on the faces of these students whose hard work and dedication have paid off. For some, this ceremony marks the transition from higher education to a career. But for many more, this ceremony is a brief moment to reflect and celebrate as they continue their journey through higher education. They will transfer from a community college to a four-year institution. Lots of planning and preparation went into making these students' dreams of continued education possible. In this video, we will give you an overview of the transfer process and of things to think about as you consider attending community college and transferring to a four-year school. You will hear the personal stories of several students who also give you tips to make for a smooth transfer process. And you will hear words of wisdom from advisors who have assisted hundreds of students who've transferred. We will tell you about the support available as you navigate the transfer process. But before we go any further, here's a piece of advice worth considering. When you've made the decision to attend community college, knowing you will later transfer to a four-year institution, you must plan. Each of the students you saw graduating earlier carefully planned for their transfer. For most, they began preparing for their transfer shortly after beginning their community college classes. The better you plan for your transfer, the better your experience will be. We'll remind you how important it is to plan throughout this video. So what does it mean to transfer? Meet Melissa from Washington State University.
At WSU, a transfer student is someone who is not currently in high school, but who is attending or has attended an accredited community college or four-year university. Entrance requirements and admission requirements may be different, varying on how many credits the student's going to be entering with. So students definitely want to check with their schools that they're interested in about that. And students can actually transfer over at any time. They don't need to have that associate's degree to transfer over.
Melissa helps students plan their transition to her four-year university and ensures that students have all the appropriate documentation in order to apply.
If students have less than a full year of academic coursework at their institution, we are going to ask to see high school transcripts and SAT or ACT test scores, and we'll review that during application review. Unless the student is age 25 or over, then they'll go through an adult review process, which is a little bit different. So there's that. Students do need to know that only academic and non-remedial coursework will be accepted at the four-year university.
Let's take a step back now. If you have made the decision to attend community college and are considering transferring, you will be making a number of important decisions. You will need to take a look at the big picture of your education. You know what your program of study or major will be once you transfer to a four-year school? Once you have an answer to that question, it will help you decide what type of degree to seek at your community college. There are several types of degrees available at the community college. They include Associate of Arts degrees, Associate of Science degrees, and Associate of Applied Sciences, transfer degrees. Achieving any of these degrees will allow you to transfer these credits and move you faster through your program at the time you enter a four-year institution. To ensure you have the appropriate credits for your intended major, you need to choose your degree program and plan carefully. This is a very important step that will help you transfer more successfully, and many colleges expect you to arrive from community college major ready, which means you not only have the appropriate credits to transfer, but you have also taken classes considered prerequisites for your intended major. As you can see, you'll be making a lot of important decisions soon after you arrive at a community college, and you'll find many students arrive with a plan. Meet Patrick. He grew up on the Pacific island of Saipan. He left the island in search of quality higher education.
I decided to start at a community college because I wanted to take advantage of the smaller class sizes. And I know that a lot of the introductory courses that are taught here are also taught at universities. But it's really amazing how how large the class sizes are at the university. So I wanted to take advantage of it here at the community college level, take as many introductory courses as possible, and then transfer into university. So each quarter I met with a counselor to talk about some of the basic requirements that I needed to transfer to the university. And each quarter I met those requirements. And by the end of my second year as a community college student, I finally graduated.
And while Patrick arrived at a community college with clear goals in mind and knowing that he would transfer to a 4-year school, many students aren't sure what they're going to do. But that doesn't mean transferring is not an option.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
When Paul Ung started at the community college, he only knew he should be in college.
I was doing some accounting stuff for my dad. My dad owns 2 convenience stores, so I was doing that. And when I got into the accounting classes, they just kind of clicked for me, so I decided that's kind of what I wanted to do. So that's what I changed my focus to when I was on my second year of community college. And graduated with an associate's degree from Shoreline Community College, and then I transferred to Seattle University to the Albers School of Business, and there I got my bachelor's degree in accounting.
Once Paul decided on his course of study, he was still able to quickly set the wheels in motion to transfer to a 4-year school.
So I was a little late, so I was scrambling getting transcripts and making sure that all my classes could carry over, and a couple of my classes didn't carry over, so I had to add a couple classes onto my last 2 quarters so that they would transfer.
Paul is like many students who start college with only a vague idea of where their path may lead them. Maybe they will transfer to a 4-year school, maybe not. And there were some students whose arrival on the college campus wasn't part of their plans at all. Meet Sia.
I didn't know if I wanted to go to college or not. I was more like, as soon as I get done with high school, go into the workforce. That was it. That was going to be it. College was more like if I had time.
Sia? Oh, hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Sia made the decision to give community college a try.
My friends kept pushing me to go for scholarship. So I ended up filling it out, and I ended up getting that scholarship. And that scholarship was 1 year. That first year, even though I was learning anything, it was just a test for me to see if I wanted to stay in college.
Inspired by his college experience, Sia now has future plans.
The college courses that I'm taking, hopefully it will result in me transferring over, get my AA here, and transferring over to Central Washington to get a degree in law enforcement, to become a police officer.
It's worth repeating. Once you decide to attend community college and then transfer to a 4-year school, remember the key piece of advice: plan.
Planning is such a big part of the transfer process. So really, like in that first quarter that students are on campus, they should be initiating some research into the transfer process.
You will need to be sure you are taking the classes needed for your community college degree and those meeting the requirements of the major program at the 4-year school you intend to transfer to.
While I was researching what classes I would transfer when I was looking at transferring to another university and the programs I was interested in, I learned that there was some classes that would be required for me to take on their campus after I received my associates here. And so one of the things I would try to look at was that trying to fulfill some of my requirements here at the community college while before I went off to the university, and I actually had to pay the university fees and actually take those classes whereas I could just take it here and then have it be done with.
There are plenty of resources available to help you figure out what Eduardo learned. You'll find them on your community college campus and on the campus of your new school. Sarah Stubbs is an admissions counselor at the University of Washington. Like admissions counselors on campuses everywhere, she's ready to answer your questions, offer advice, and get you headed in the right direction.
Most students who transfer to the UW start at a Washington Community College because the UW does give priority for transfer admission to Washington State Community College students who have about 90 transferable credits, or ideally an associate's degree, and who are academically prepared for their intended major. Planning ahead is a really big deal in terms of transferring to the university. The good news is we have tons of resources in terms of staff, but lots of resources online that students can use to just get an idea of what they're looking at. So you can go to the admissions website and get an academic planning worksheet for any one of our 149 majors and figure out what are the prerequisite courses that you need to take while you're getting your associate's degree.
You don't have to do all this work alone. There is support for you. Advisors on your community college campus are a great resource.
The nice thing about Central Washington University is they participate.
While the transfer process is your responsibility, meeting often with an advisor can help to ensure you are taking the correct steps towards your transfer.
You need to get to know someone at your community college campus, preferably an academic advisor, but also get to know someone at the four-year institution that you're thinking about transferring to, and make these connections with people. It's really important. Go and shake their hands, tell them your name, and get a business card before you leave so you can keep in contact with them. But this way you're going to ensure that you're taking all the right classes that you need to make a smooth transition into the four-year, which is really important.
Remember what Melissa advises. Once you have an idea what school you want to transfer to, get to know someone there. These advisors will not only help you with the transfer process, they can also help you understand all the opportunities that await you when you arrive at your new school.
And typically 6 months to a year before they plan to apply, students start to research either online on their own or with a counselor at the community college, or by coming to a fair, a college fair at their community college, or coming to Transfer Thursday here on campus, because there's tons of things going on at the university that can help students to build their resumes, gain skills, build upon what they're learning in the classroom. And so it's really important coming in as a junior, already having your associate's degree. You don't have a ton of time at the university. You only theoretically have 2 years. And so it's really important to start asking questions. How can I get involved in research? How can I go on a study abroad? Do I have time? When can I go? Where could I go? Are there opportunities for me to go out and get an internship?
As you navigate the transfer process, you will discover there are several applications you need to complete, education transcripts you need to compile, you will need to turn in to your four-year school by set dates. Missing those deadlines could be costly in dollars and time.
I would say, again, plan early, get ahead on things, make contact with an advisor on campus and an admissions counselor at the four-year that you want to transfer to. Be aware of those deadlines, definitely.
And Jason Moy, Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Seattle University, will tell you this is just as important if you're planning on transferring to a smaller four-year school.
Planning ahead is always great. When you're starting at the community college or whatever point in the process you're at, you can make an appointment here at Seattle University. We can sit down with you and help you sketch out a plan or go over our transfer guides so that we can get a plan in place for you. You don't have to approach us when you are about to graduate and looking to transfer, so we can be with you every step of the way.
Do you know how you will pay for school? Will you apply for scholarships? You will need to apply. Will you need financial aid or a loan? You'll need to determine what aid is available for you and then apply. And for all, you need to meet all deadlines to apply. Missing these deadlines could delay when you get to attend school.
Also for financial aid, you want to make sure students are probably already getting financial aid at their community college, but they need to renew that FAFSA and add WSU or whatever school they're interested in to that FAFSA to make sure we get that information.
Panicked a little bit once I saw how much tuition, really was. But I went to the Student Financial Center that Seattle U has, and they offered me a lot of different alternatives. And of course, the first one was to qualify as the FAFSA. I didn't qualify for that because my dad made too much money. So the other alternative was to get loans. So I got government loans that I had to apply for, and those covered about 75%, and the other 25% came out of my pocket. And I also went to summer school at Seattle U, which isn't covered by the government loans, so I had to take out some private loans from Sallie Mae.
And remember, you'll need to request your transcripts from your current school, and you'll need to complete the application for your 4-year school. Many applications will include a request for you to write a personal statement. You may also need to request letters of recommendation from faculty or community members. Filling out the paperwork is a time-consuming task, so plan ahead. Allow extra time to receive your letters of recommendation and your transcripts. For many students, writing a personal statement is a real challenge. This statement is about you, the challenges you've faced, and your hopes and dreams. Admission counselors and scholarship committees will read these statements as part of the application process, and it will help them to get to know you better.
Yes, tell your story and your future dreams.
Many community colleges offer special workshops like this one to help. Take advantage of these resources.
A lot of this is about your personal statement.
So let's look at why you would consider attending a community college, especially if your ultimate goal is to transfer to a 4-year college or university to get a 4-year degree. English instructor Bob Dela Cruz stays in contact with many students after they've moved on, and their stories reinforce the decision to attend community college before going on to a 4-year institution.
Reasons to go to the community college rather than university. One would be that the cost is considerably less, 2, 3, 4 times less than what it would cost to go to a similar class at the university. We are much less expensive. We're cheaper than what you would be paying at the university. In fact, during a summer quarter, I have had students who are from the university. They come back to take some of their courses here at the community college because they tell me that because it's a lot cheaper. Also, the courses that we offer here have openings in terms of enrollment. The university, especially during the summer, may be full.
One of the highlights of the community college is the fact that we keep the classes small. So on average, you're going to find around 30 students per classroom. So if you compare that to what you might find at a university, especially in freshman type classrooms, you could possibly have up to 500 people in one classroom. So if you're trying to share one teacher to 500 students, you might not get as much one-on-one time as you would in a smaller class size. So if you're in a community college, one of the nice things is if you're in the back of the classroom and you're raising your hand and you have a question, your teacher's going to be able to see you pretty easily compared to what you'd be doing at a university. So smaller class sizes means that you're going to get more of a chance to have those one-on-one conversations with your teacher.
Also, you have the instructors who are teaching you as opposed to the university where oftentimes you have teaching assistants, you have TAs. The professor may come in, give a lecture, and then walk out. But then it's the TAs who will be giving you the assignments and then also grading those assignments. And then the chance of you as an undergraduate being able to talk to that professor is quite rare. But that's not what you get in the community college. That the instructors are here, they're here for you. So again, the type of assistance, the type of instruction that you have, it's very personal, it's very intimate. So it's extremely helpful as opposed to going to the university. Also, community colleges tend to be within the community, so they are actually closer, so your commute time will be less as opposed to a university which could be in the middle of the city, and now you have to go through the traffic and have to park and that type of thing.
Deciding to attend community college and then transfer offers other benefits too.
Also, you get to live at home, so you're not paying for room and board, so that saves you a lot of money. So I think that's a really big thing. Also, I know a lot of students are kind of tied to the local area where their families are at, and it is very difficult for them to move away. A lot of our top students at the school at WSU are transfer students. I think because they come in academically well prepared. I think they're used to how college works, they know how it works, they know the rigor, and so it's not as big of an adjustment for them as for freshmen. And I also think they come in with a little bit more maturity. And I think that goes a long way, too. And they seem to be a lot more focused on what they want to do.
Another benefit to consider is that many four-year institutions are flexible about when you can start with them.
One of the unique things here about Seattle University is that you can apply directly for your major, regardless of whether you have finished your associate's degree or not. So coming in as a freshman, or perhaps you've only finished your first year at the community college, you can apply directly for, say, the business school or things like that.
And something to keep in mind, while the larger four-year institution may seem busier and more difficult to negotiate, there are resources there for you. In fact, remember that many advisors like working with community college transfer students.
Transfer students are the easiest students to work with. They're more mature, they have better direction of where they want to go.
Part of the reason why I like working with transfer students is they do have a lot more mature, like Val was saying. They have a more clear understanding of what they want to do, even amongst the PI kids themselves. So if even some of their academics may not be on par with what they want it to be, they still have a very clear understanding of what they want to do with their lives, what their goals are, and what they want to do with, especially with their families.
There are some reasons you may not want to choose the transfer path.
There are more scholarships available to freshmen, typically, not as many for transfer, which hurts a little bit. Another negative would be some majors actually prefer that students come straight to the university to get into some cohorts and take tracked type of education. And one more con would be that some classes, or some community colleges don't offer the prerequisite classes necessary to get into the program at the 4-year. So they might be able to take a few of them, but not all.
There is a lot of information to take in and a lot of planning to do to prepare to transfer to a 4-year school. To help you, many community colleges hold transfer fairs on their campuses, bringing representatives from a variety of 4-year colleges and universities to meet with you on your community college campus. These advisors can tell you about programs offered at their schools and inform you about documentation needed to apply and deadlines you may need to meet when you transfer. Some community colleges hold transfer workshops with knowledgeable advisors who can take you through the process of preparing to transfer and answer any questions or clarify confusing parts of the process along the way. And you should know this too. Most 4-year institutions are eager to accept and welcome students transferring from community college.
Well, the great thing is about Seattle University is that we do bring in a lot of transfer students. So we do have a really sizable community, and we have a lot of support for transfer students. And so that's something I really encourage for them. So we do have things like a separate transfer and commuter student staff and faculty to help support these students. Our transfer students have kind of a separate, we call it a collegium, but it's kind of like a lounge with a kitchen where they can kind of, store their food and relax a little bit. There's even showers here on campus specifically for commuter and transfer students. So definitely you feel like you have a home and you have a community. They have a vote in the student council. We have a commuter and transfer student representative. So I think they are definitely integrated and recognized that they bring a lot to the table here in terms of the educational experience here.
Eduardo has one more important piece of advice.
And then I think when it comes to you looking at universities, go visit that university, go talk to the departments that you're interested in, and really get a sense of that school. And so it ended up being a very important factor in my decision is, actually checking out the campus and getting an idea of what they would be like in comparison.
While Eduardo found just the right campus feel quickly, some students discover what seemed like the right fit wasn't the right one after all. Janice was a trailblazer in higher education for her family. She found the perfect 4-year university to attend.
And then moving there and actually living there is a different story. Visiting for one day, you only get a little taste of it, but actually living there with roommates and being away from your family, being away from your comfort zone, it really broke me down, and it was difficult. And because I was older than my roommates, so I think there was a barrier there too. But educationally, I didn't succeed in that environment because the class was so big. There was 200 students in there, and that was not what I was used to. So, and I felt like a fish out of water there. And when that didn't work out, I had to think of a different game plan. I was looking at the local schools here, but I definitely wanted to continue my education.
A branch campus was the solution to an unexpected discovery.
So I applied at Central Washington, the Des Moines branch, and I decided to go there because it was a South Seattle feel where it's small classes and you can interact with the instructor. They're just right there for you. You're not just a number.
Remember these graduates? A lot of planning and preparation went into making their dreams possible. Their hard work will open many doors, providing them with opportunity. For those who will continue to a four-year college, they are prepared to transfer, to face new academic challenges because of experiencing the rigors of college at a community college first.
It's an interesting thing. I didn't picture myself actually this happening, so it's kind of a shocker right now that I actually would be graduating from college. So there was a couple of doors that kind of opened for me, and so now instead of just looking at law enforcement, I could also look and become a fitness trainer and also pre-law, and then a lot of other doors has opened up for me as well. So.
Audacilla D. Songyao Jr. This is our first Associate of Arts with emphasis